Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sunday night. And of course, that means Sunday night only means one thing. It's time for another round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. We are in season 6, race 10 of 11, and tonight we are at Phoenix. Tonight we are missing one person, Carl, but nevertheless, I am joined here in the booth by Matt Hunter. Good evening, Matt, and welcome to another round of what has been a great season for these guys so far.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, welcome to another round. Course round 10, the penultimate round. Yeah, it's been a really, really great season, hasn't it? It's been some really good close racing and really dominated by Gary Wellman, really, in terms of wins.
Yeah, we were talking through the week, Carl and myself, and we were just wondering if he can go another 2 rounds with race wins. But nevertheless, mate, I'll leave it with you at the moment and run through the championship points for us.
Yeah, so I'll just check up the points there. We can see Raymond Yeager is currently in first spot in the points. Gary Wellman, courtesy of having a holiday for a couple of weeks, is in second spot at the moment, about 10 points behind, so 11 points behind, so a little bit to make up. Chris Finley having a really good season as well, and he's running in third. And then the spots, fourth through to sort of seventh and eighth spot, they're all really, really close. Only a couple of points sort of between them. Which Justin Whitcher, Greg Spencer, Andy Barber, Nicholas Walsh, Luke Crum, Craig Roffey, and Troy Davison rounding out the top 10. So looking pretty good there. And in terms of the teams championship points as well, so that's all valuable teams points championships. They go so every night they each team nominates I think 4 drivers or 2 drivers. I'm not sure how many. 4 I think it is, and then they sort of get points. And at the moment, Pinnacle Esports is on top of that, leading the Sim Boys by 6 points, so 332 versus 325, and then Inside Lane Sim Sports 305 sitting in third there, and also pretty tight there with fourth and fifth sitting on the same amount of points as well. So yeah, of course they'll be looking to nominate the drivers for tonight, and then hoping that those nominated drivers have a good run. Too often it happens that you nominate a couple of drivers and they end up getting ripped out early, and then you don't get as many points as you would like from it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, I can tell you now, I've just been watching the timing screen. Kate Onley was up the top, Gary Wellman was up the top, and now Darren McKenzie is sitting top of qualifying at the moment. So some guys out there tonight have got some real great speed. Andy Barber there in eighth position. Raymond Yeager down in 11th. Joy Schultz hasn't set a time yet. Um, there's some different things happening. As I just say that, Josh Schultz now jumps up in the 12th position um, in qualifying. Some great guys out here tonight. We've seen some big accidents through the starts, um, and this place is going to be no different. It's the open dog leg. And I must admit, mate, I've never ever driven a V8 supercar around this track. But I would just imagine dropping down through that dog leg is going to play a bit of a havoc with these front spoilers and everything.
Yeah, this is that's one of the features of this track that I really don't like. I do really like short track racing, but yeah, that open dog leg is it's pretty silly, but pretty naff to me. But it is what it is. Yeah, so I think these cars probably be fairly stable using the dog leg. I seem to remember in season 5, I think they were pretty good using that. The real problem with using the dog leg is when someone goes really, really low and you end up having 2 to 3 cars wide, and that car that's really low has to come back up the track. And if the guys up top don't know it, and the re-entry from the bottom up to the top is not good, that's where you can have sort of accidents happen there and contact. So yeah, you've got to really sort of be looking out for that.
I was just going to say, well, that's no different to the NASCARs around here. Same issues. But it's a bit cool tonight. We might check the weather conditions, Matt. Just quickly.
Yep.
So track temp is 22, so 72 degrees Fahrenheit in the old temperatures, and air temp. We're not going to have a problem with the cars overheating. Um, at 21 degrees. Wind is 6 k's out of the northwest. And clear skies. So it will cool down a little bit as this is out in the desert, this track. So it should be some good clean running. Didn't see much of the hot heat degradation in the tyres. So
No,
qualifying.
no, it's more about just keep looking after that right front, really, not overheating it, going too hard into the corner. But yeah, did you want to run through the grid there, Mark?
Yep, I'll run through it. So starting off pole is Darren McKenzie for Southern Stars. Gary Willman knew he had to be up there in Sim Boys. Just wondering how many of those Sim Boys are going to grow tonight. Second row in third, Justin Whitcher, Cade Donnelly in fourth. Craig Roffey and Troy Davison round out row three. Row four, Chris Finlay, Andy Barber. Let's hope Andy has a better run than he did last week. Row 5, Kim Roffey, Adam Malone. Row 6, Raymond Jager and Ajay Schultz. Greg Spencer, Todd Maxwell rounds out row 7. Row 8, Peter Madison and Nicholas Welsh. Mike
Hadefi?
Harrison.
Hadefi, I think. Maybe. Sorry. So
Sorry,
apologies if we
Mike.
get that wrong. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Peter Gretton rows out row 19. Row 10, Nigel Patton, Jamie Nankervis. It's good to see him back in there. And Paul Drady rounding out the last row. I am showing Che Mello.
Yeah, I don't think Shay settled a time, so because he didn't set a lap time, it wouldn't come up on that graphic that I was using there, unfortunately. But he is definitely out there at the back, I believe. Can't miss him. He's in the police car, so he's chasing everybody, keeping them on their toes, keeping them honest.
So, as we come out and the pace car is pulled in, we will go green. A little bit of a strange track now. They've moved the start-finish line to midway through 1 and 2, which plays havoc at times.
It does, yeah, because of course when the green flag flies, some cars are still on the corner part, and yeah, but here we go.
And green flag is away. Darren McKenzie takes a great jump straight down to that low line. Moves back up to the high line and it has the lead, but Gary Willman not letting him get away. These guys need to just settle down, and we can see further back pursuing through wide action through turn 3 and 4, which is a little bit unusual to see that this early through there.
Yeah, they're battling pretty hard up the front there. Gary pretty determined to get out the front there and get those laps. Of course, pick up that bonus point as well for leading a lap.
And he's been able to do that on lap 2. So, nice move by Gary. Oh, Raymond Jager in the background, hard into the outside wall, out of turn 1 and 2. 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think he might have got away with it. No real obvious signs of damage to the car. He just needs to keep it calm and settle it down. He's got to think big picture, long term, because of course leading the championship, he needs to work his way up through the field during the night and maximise the amount of points he can. Yeah, if Gary's going to keep leading this race and end up winning it, Raymond needs to be as close as he can behind them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's all about points tonight. I know if I was out here and I was there leading the championship and I had Gary behind me, you'd be just trying to consolidate as many points as you can get.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, if I was, Raymond, he's racing Gary, really. He wants to just make sure he finishes in front of Gary, where whatever that may be, whether that's 5th and 6th or even further down. But yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, starting back down the pack a bit, so he's going to have to work his way up to try and get up to where Gary is, because we know Gary's always going to run near the front. fairly settled so far, which is good to see.
Yeah, but we've seen this before, and
Yeah,
these
that's what I've said
races,
so far.
so it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen these races where the first 20 laps are nice and clean, and then it's all on after that. So it looks like was it Jai? They're just utilising that dog leg and just cutting the inside there and gaining some spots there. I think he's really sort of charging up to the front. Up 6 spots so far. So yeah, biggest gainer so far is the 27. And we see him go and use that dog leg again. Certainly working for him because he's now up to 5th position with that.
I'm just looking further back down in the pack, and everyone is really behaving themselves. On nose to tail, except for Jai. Jai's really the only one that's getting down and using that dog leg every lap. Adam Malone went down that through the dog leg there on that lap, but everyone is really well behaved at the moment and not forcing the issue, just happy to sit there. It is a long race, it's 200 laps. I'm not sure, I was told, and I can't remember how many laps on a tank will get.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that information is. As we see some more takers for the dog leg.
Oh, someone into the heavy into the outside wall then, I actually just missed it. But it's starting to get a little bit tight back here between teammates Adam Malone and Andy Barber from Southern Stars.
Yeah, it's right on the ends of the top 10 with Andy Barber in the 5 car there in 10th spot, and his teammate Adam Malone in 11th right behind him. Up the front, the lead has changed up the front. Gary McKenzie's taken over the lead again from Gary Wellman. And Jai's looking to make a move for 3rd.
He gets down on that dog leg really quick and early and tries to get that flat section really working for him. But the boys have been aware of it and giving him plenty of room as he comes back onto the track. As he moves up and now trying to battle with him. You'll have to forgive me, guys.
Oh, that's Donnelly he's battling there. So they've been side by side for a couple of laps now. 2 different lines, but yeah, it's still side by side. They're both catching up to Gary Wellman though. 2nd.
I just noticed Gary's just touching his brake a little bit, trying to hold that car down on the turn in. So maybe it's starting to push just that little bit. We are on lap 12 of 200 though. It's a funny track, isn't it, Matt? It's the banking in 1 and 2 is 11 degrees, but when you're out there, you definitely don't. It doesn't feel like it at times that you've got so much banking, and then the back straight is 0 degrees. Oh, sorry, I just lost where I was reading then. So front back straight's got no degrees on it, so that flattens right out, and banking in 3 and 4 where they're coming up to now is only 9 degrees. So there is banking there, but not a great deal of it.
No, of course it's a really weird layout. Like that back straight used to be the front straight, and that used to be where the flag stand was. And then of course they did the big layout and change of it and reshaped it and sort of stuff, and yeah, move. I used to like the old V-neck, so I'm not personally been a bit of a fan. As we see Donnelly trying to make a move here on for the lead, and Josh Schultz is going to follow him through. Donnelly opened up the door for Schultz to come through, and they both use the dog leg. Yeah, it's super weird. Like the back straight used to be where the start finish line was, and then they've moved it around the corner, and then they redid the corner and the shape of it and pit road, and it's pretty odd and weird layout.
Very odd and weird layout. I do remember that when they first moved it from the back straight back to the front straight, it was before turn one. Then another configuration that went to like that mid corner in turns 1 and 2. And now it's out of turn 2 really, just before you cut down across that dog leg. So there's been plenty of movement in this track to try and change things up a little bit.
Trying to settle on something that works, but yeah, of course, yeah, I'm not too, as I say, like I personally am probably not the biggest fan of this layout, but I like the one that was before. But yeah, that's good. It's good for racing at the moment.
Yeah, it is. We've got to change up the front again. We now have Joy Schultz out in front over Kay Donnelly and Darren McKenzie. And we've already got the leaders coming up to laps and cars.
Yeah, it's the Peter Gretton car that's just about to get lapped in turn 1 there. In the old Cat racing car. Full Performance Racing, wasn't it, at that time?
Yeah, yep. The next person I'll catch is Peter Matheson in the 173.
Yeah, there are some big gaps, and then we've got so Shane Mello, 12 seconds off the lead. Lap times, we're looking at around about 28 seconds, 29 seconds for lap times.
Just looking at it, really from P1 through to 16, that's a tight group, and then you have the who is it? Greg Spencer is there, going the wrong way. Peter Gretton is that car that's down. So again, Matt has been well behaved. No one's really trying to make any silly moves at the moment. They need to get through these first 2 pit stops, I'd say, and then we might see some silliness come into the racing. But at the moment, all nice and clean.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, they're probably managing their tyres as well, because they only get one change of tyres. So 2 sets for the whole race, and so they're probably just sort of working to sort of save and conserve that tyre to at least lap 100. So you split the race in half, and then but they're also giving each other plenty of room, which is really good to see. Especially on these short tracks, you want to give people a bit of extra room, because some people, people will make mistakes. They will overdrive the corner, they'll lock a brake, they're right front, and it'll just push the car up a little bit. And if you give them a bit of extra room, it allows, a bit of tolerance for those mistakes to sort of not have crashes and contact.
Yes, definitely. Now, just one thing to be aware of, and the guys would know that this is here. Most of these guys would have done plenty of laps in the NASCAR around here. As you go through that dog leg, I'll see if I can pick it up as Joy comes now through the restart zone, and he'll drop down. And just as you drop down the pit exit, there's a blue line there, as you can see, that white cone, blue and white cone. If you get too close to that cone, there is a bump there that will throw you, and a high chance of it turning you around too.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I personally can't drive that dog leg. I always find it too bumpy and unsettles the car too much for my liking.
I find when I get down there, I get too loose, and just no control over the car.
No, I do always tend to stick to the conventional track.
But there is, that is the one good thing. Turns 3 and 4, you tend to keep conventional, and 1 and 2, like across through that dog leg, there is actually two or three lanes you can really make work for yourself. And as I said, if you're brave, you can get right down against that cone on the exit of Dogleg and come out a quarter of the way down the back straight. So, Matt, I was just going to say, if people are enjoying the racing that they've seen this year, and want to take it to the next level, go visit my Private Cellar for some great wines and some great deals. One of our major sponsors for this the Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Yeah, we've got My Private Cellar and yeah, great sponsor, a primary sponsor. We'll do a bit of a run through the other cars as well. We've got Whitcher Electrix and Justin Whitcher, the driver of that car at the moment.
Yeah, now he's down in Ballarat, but I'm sure that he does covers Melbourne area too. So Ballarat area, definitely he's the man that you want to get in touch with.
And then Raymond Yeager, the car just behind Whitcher on track, RKJ Web Services. So if you want to look at getting some web services done, websites and that sort of thing, yeah, Raymond's definitely the person to go to hit up about that.
I can tell you now, Matt, next season, the Weekend Warriors are definitely thinking about employing him to look after our website. So it gives me a little bit more time to do things outside of sim racing.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly thinking the same thing too. I was thinking about having a bit of conversation with him at the end of the season because I'm struggling to keep up as well. So with the ANSCAR website, so it'd be good to have a conversation to him and see what we can get done.
Yeah, it'd be good to just free up some time. We can get to a little bit more racing. I can get my eye back in and stop running into people.
And of course, we'll just focus on, we'll go for Mr. Toddy himself. We'll go for hot Toddys heating installs. So just with on the and United Electricals as well. They sponsor the Simboy cars, so we'll choose Todd Maxfield one for the hot Toddys. Based in.
They're in
Tasmania.
Tasmania.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was going to say
I was going to say, I guess that's the place where you want some heating right at the moment. I know here where I am, it's nice and cool and icy of a morning.
Yeah, if it's cold, it's certainly cold over here, and I imagine it'd be pretty cold over in Tasmania at the moment.
Yeah, now I'm led to believe they do gas fires, wood burning fires, air conditioning and reverse cycle. So they cover the whole range down there.
Excellent. So yeah, we'll just switch cars as well, and to Donnelly's car, another Simboy. It's pretty tame or calm race at the moment, really. Everyone's just logging laps.
Give it time.
yeah.
So
well, apparently it's warm as SIHT and Tassie at the moment. It's a bit of that global warming going on. I know it's been pretty cold over here because we've had a bit of a southerly storm, or a bit of a coming from the polar sort of area. It's been cold. Other than that, though, it's been a pretty mild winter.
Yeah, we've only just started to really get the frost here in Victoria and in northeast Victoria, so it has been a mild one, but it's hitting us with a vengeance at the moment.
Tassie must have escaped it. Oh, apparently, we're just getting messages in the chat. Chris told me about 8 degrees Celsius is warm down there.
That's swimming weather.
Yeah. So yeah, so drivers just logging laps. It's sort of, the field's really sort of spread out a little bit. Have a look at the times here and we can sort of see. Yeah, that first three cars have definitely sort of gapped it a little bit, and then they're sort of just single file through to the fourth, through to 10th sort of thing.
And guy coming up with another lap car down. The next Mike Hard. Heath it isn't it? We'll just call him Lucky Mike.
I reckon, yeah. I reckon maybe Hadafi, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to find out after how he announces it. As Joe gets the run there on the inside to get past.
Yeah, looks like he's definitely found the outside wall. That Commodore is not very straight down that down that right hand side.
No, it looks like he's bringing it into the pits as well. Where's he? Yep, he's bringing it in. So it looks like he's had some contact with the wall.
And very heavy contact. If you go from the rear view, it's you can see that right hand front guard sticking in.
See if we can get a replay of it. It's already happened there. It's pretty clean there, and then there we are. Oh,
there it is.
Yep, that's a big bit of a hit there. Turn 1 and 2 that was.
Yep. So here we're getting some repairs done. And it's heating up again at the front there, Matt. Mackenzie is closed right in on the back of Josh Schultz.
Definitely has. Could be a little bit of sort of saving and stuff going on here. Like one driver's saving for a bit, and then the other one's saving for a bit.
What I have found here though, Matt, is that if you stay out off the dog leg, it tends to look after that right front just that fraction better. You tend to put too much pressure or too much reliance on that right front coming down through the dog leg, and just the change of track angle because it's very flat down there and coming back up across the angle at the of the track from one surface to another. So yeah, I just hope for Joy's sake that it doesn't put too much pressure running reasonably quick all the time. You know, they're down in the 28 constantly. So and the low 28s, almost into the 27s.
Yeah, and speaking of lap times, the times they haven't really dropped off. There's still 44 laps into this run. They're still running times 0.2 of a second of their fastest time. So, I mean, there's no real drop off at this stage for tyres. It's interesting though, we've got two really distinct sort of groups. We've got the top 16 covered by, you know, the 7, Paul Drady and 16th, 7 seconds back. But then we've got a big jump to Walsh in 17th, who is, you know, almost 17 seconds back now. And then Nigel Patton's struggling as well, 22 seconds. Che Mello, 22 seconds as well. So, you know, those cars from 17 on backwards are all in danger of getting lapped. And but then those top 16 cars are all running pretty much the same pace.
Not a lot of time difference, like 20, 28, 3, 28, 4, 28, 2, 28, 4. So they're all very, as you said, Matt, very close in time. It'll be interesting to see, and I'm just wondering if we will see any tyre damage and maybe even a tyre that goes somewhere through the race.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, But yeah, I mean, you can see the lap times, just how close everybody is. Everyone's running around that 28.2 to 28.5, really. and it's 47 laps into a run, so it doesn't seem to be any drop off at this stage.
So Raven has been able to close up onto the back of Wellman. There's still 4 cars between them, but Raymond is actually closing in and going to probably within the next 10 laps, I'd say, we'll be looking at giving Wellman a few little love taps.
Yeah, he's about 2.5 seconds off Wellman at the moment, but I think he's just pretty settled at the moment, just running his own race. He's changed positions with Whitcher, his teammate, so there might be a bit of so it looks like Whitcher's going to try and make a move now for the dog leg. So they might have just been trading places just to do a little bit of fuel saving and a bit of drafting.
Yeah, we've seen in the last few races these Pinnacle cars, why the early stages, probably the first half of the race, they just hung towards the back of the race. It's really the second half after they do that pit stop, that second pit stop normally in the big races, they really start to move forward. So and they're in perfect harmony at the moment with both the lead drivers in close proximity to each other. Only a few cars back though, we've got Greg Spencer in the 29. So the team is reasonably close. Just trying to find where Nigel's dropped off, and he's actually about to go a lap down because Guy is closing in on him in the 90 my Private Cellar's car.
Yeah, Nigel's and the next car to be put a lap down. Looks like Shay Mello has also retired his car as well. I don't know if he's had any contact. Unfortunately, my session events are not showing properly. Did you want to just have a quick little look back, Mark, and see if you can find what happened to Shay Mello? Because it looks like he's parked the car and about 5 laps ago.
Yep, going to do that now.
There's always 2 different strategies. The teams.
Oh yeah, sorry Matt. He has got heavy damage down that right side. So I'll just watch it through here. So it happened to him on either lap 42 or 43.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my session events has not shown it properly, so I can't go back and grab a replay of it, unfortunately.
Oh, he actually coming through turn 3, 1 and 2, and it just got forked a little bit by Nigel. No contact or anything, just a fork, and that sent him up into the outside wall, and same as the last car that we watched. Very, very heavy damage.
So yeah, no, there's always it's interesting how the teams have different strategies. I know the Sim boys, they like to just get out front and lead out the front and put as many cars up the front as they can, whereas the Pinnacle guys like to sort of sit back for sort of maybe half the race and try and survive and take stock of what's going on and come up with a plan and then sort of try and charge to the front if they can, as Nigel Patton has now gone down a lap. There's a bit of a close call there between the leader Schultz and McKenzie, just coming back up the track for the dog leg. It looks like Donnelly's picked up the pace as well in third. And looks like he's trying to catch onto the back of the front two as well.
And they've actually gapped a little bit from Gary Wilman. Gary's now sitting back 3 seconds behind Kate. So they've been able to drop those other two Simboys cars.
Yeah, Cade looks like he's definitely put the hammer down and trying to make a good run to try and get up there and stir up the front two. Probably realises he's got, you know, maybe 40 laps to go before he pits, so try and ring the neck of the car for the next 40 laps, knowing that he can get into the pits and refresh it.
A lap 60, just over a quarter way distance. Only another 140 to go. And really, Matt, this track's only just over a mile long, so it will go quick. We've been racing now just over half an hour, and it seems like it's gone through reasonably fast. And of course, it will depend if we get any cautions too. So.
Yeah, there's still a lot of racing to go. You know, predictions at this current pace is still an hour and 6 minutes of racing to go, and but you know, if we get cautions, which we certainly expect we will in the second half of the race, that'll push that time out. But it's not to be unexpected that the first half of this race would be pretty quiet. Everyone's sort of racing pretty calmly, quite happy to give up, you know, positions for the time being. But I think once we get that pit stop done, sort of maybe around about halfway, the second half of the race, I think we'll definitely see a lot more take and a lot less give.
So we had 22 cars start. We've still got 21 cars running at the moment. So the first car that is a lap down is Nigel Patton, the number 90 car. 2 laps down is Peter Matheson and Peter Gretton, both 2 laps down. And Lucky Mike, I'd say he's still in the pit lane, and he's currently 10 laps down. No, he's back out.
He's back out. He's got that Commodore all fixed up and tidied up. Good
to see a Commodore out there for a change.
Yeah, it's very Ford dominated this series. It's quite interesting. It is quite interesting. I actually was able to do some laps for the first time the other day for a change. First time in quite a while, and I sort of did some laps in a Commodore and I did some laps in a Mustang, and it was noticeably different. I felt for some reason, even I know they're supposed to be the same.
Yeah, I just don't think it's 100% right between these two. I don't know whether it's just because the way the computer reads things, but yeah, there's definitely a slight, ever so slight difference. I've actually felt a lot more comfortable in the Mustang myself when I have done some laps. Even on the road circuit, they just seem to be a little bit different than the Commodore.
Kate Donnelly has just dropped. He might have dropped from the server. Did you see anyone message about that?
No.
He was there and now he's gone.
No, nothing's come up on my screen. That's unfortunate because
yeah, he was pretty strong.
He was strong. He was. I'd say he was probably the strongest Simboy out there tonight. So, nevertheless, Gary Willman now inherits third place, along with Troy Davidson in the fourth, Andy Barber in fifth, Justin Whitcher in sixth, Chris Finlay in seventh, Craig Roffey in eighth, Raymond Jager into ninth, and Kim Roffey rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, back to our conversation about the cars. You know, you got to admit I'm completely uneducated. This is what I feel, uneducated feeling or whatever. So don't take it as gospel and don't you know. But I've sort of felt that when I jumped on the Commodore, that it's kind of boaty, like the front of it sort of sticks up a bit more, and the car feels like it's a bit more rolly and a bit boaty. Whereas the Mustang felt like it had a lower profile and a bit more sort of not quite so rolly. Yeah, not quite so rolly in the corners and stuff. And that's, you know, I mean, I had same sort of, like I had, it's all just a visual thing really, their bonnet and preference.
But that's the same as when you go across to the next gen NASCAR. You know, you go drive all three, and they're all supposed to be identical, but you still feel just the ever so slight differences. As you said, Matt, I don't know if it's just an optical illusion looking out over the bonnets, or whether there is actually a difference in them.
Yeah, like I know it was a thing with the previous generation of car, the VF and the FG, because the FG had the big bonnet scoop in the front of it, which kind of limited the vision a little bit. But that was once again just a visual thing, and you know, I'm completely uneducated on this. It's just a feeling thing, so no science in it, no facts.
We'll take your word for it, though, Matt.
Yeah. Well, out the front, Josh Schultz has managed to build that gap again to Darren McKenzie. It's almost out to a second again.
Yeah, Darren just seems to close in and have a little bit of a run. Maybe he's just
pitting.
saying that.
Yeah, he's pitting. McKenzie is pitting.
Okay, maybe he's taking the best out of those. Well, he did lead for a while, but Jai has been out there running too. I'm just wondering if he's used a little bit more fuel.
I don't know. He could possibly be able to make it home from here. Maybe they can get 100 and almost 30 laps on fuel on a full tank. Doesn't look like he's had any contact with the wall.
Do you want to do 130 laps on a set of tyres?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no real drop off in time, so I don't think it really matters. I think, you know, these guys up the front, they're very good at looking after the tyres. So we'll just see how long he's up on the jacks for. That'll give us a bit of an indication of whether it's fuel only or tyres. It's a bit of a long stop so far.
But the problem here too, Matt, is that you can go a lap down, and you probably will go a lap down pitting under green.
Joe Schultz has pitted as well. So I think he's reacted to McKenzie, who's covering him off. Wellman's in the pits, so yeah, we are seeing a whole bunch of cars coming into the pits at the moment. McKenzie's back out there, 34 seconds stationary time, and goes down 2 laps as well. So, you know, green flag pit stop is worth 2 laps on the track. Gary Wellman's done a 22-second pit stop.
So that would have to be fuel.
I would think so, yeah. I think Gary's maybe sort of looking to save that set of tyres till later on. So maybe they might have just hit the fuel window as well. I mean, they might be at the end of the tank pretty much, because we're seeing a whole bunch of cars pitting.
And unfortunately, I can't do my normal thing and run down and try and get some confirmation for our viewers. So, unfortunately, it's going to be a guess, and maybe that's one thing we'll bring up in the interviews, just to see what their actual view number was.
I think, judging by the fact that, I mean, we've literally got everybody pitting except for the top 3, I would say they're all probably pretty much running out of fuel, I think.
Raymond Jaeger now out in the front.
Yeah, he gets a lap lead, which will be pick up his bonus point, so it covers off the lap lead that Gary got.
And he's in pit lane now. So what's he get? He gets 78 laps. But remember, he was back in the field a little bit for most of this run. So maybe you're right, Matt. Maybe that is the maximum fuel that we can get is
Yeah.
around that 70, 75 to 78, 80 laps max.
Yeah, well, the last car that hasn't pitted is Adam Malone, and he's just coming to the pit lane right now. So yeah,
And
I
he got
think
79.
I think you're right. I think we're looking around about that 75 lap mark for those pit stops. Yeah. What it means though, when it clears out, I think, as long as it stays green, I think Gary Wellman will inherit the lead, and I think he'll have a fairly sizable margin as well because he he saved about 14, I want to say maybe 13 to 14 seconds in pit lane by not taking tyres, we don't think. So Malone's still in the pits here. Gary Wellman comes through now to take over the lead of the race. And we'll just have to see how far out he is ahead of the next car.
Well, right at the moment it's showing Kim Rocky nearly 4 seconds back for me. So,
so there's Kim Roffey had an even quicker pit stop. He's 18 seconds stationary time. I think our order is shaked out. I should be able to have a look at this.
yeah, what I'm seeing now is everything's cycled through. So what you're seeing, that's Gary Wellman out in the lead by nearly 4.5 seconds over Tim Roffey. Raymond Jagger has done a great job in stopping and getting back out into third place for Pinnacle Esports, and his teammate Greg Spencer right behind him. Then Andy Barber into fifth, and Joyce Schultz into sixth. Seventh, have we just had something happen with Joy, because he has lost nearly 3 spots in a lap.
I don't think so. I think he's just dropped track position because of the pit stop cycle. If we have a look at the pit box time, so this is the pit box time where they were stationary. We're just showing that on the screen now. And we've got to think that those 22 second stops, 18, 21, 22 second stops have got to be fuel only. And perhaps the 34, 33 second pit stops that we're seeing some of the cars lower down the order had possibly fuel and tyres. Because there's a big difference there. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, unless those cars that are on the shorter stop have short stopped or short fueled, knowing that they're going to be coming back in maybe in 40 laps time or so. So then they can do their final stop and make it to the end. So we'll just have to see if that's the case or not. But for now, the field's pretty well spread out. At least the top 4 are.
And Joy is actually down there with the lap car too, Peter Matheson. So, and he's got Justin Whitcher right behind him, giving him some curry. But back up the front, Gary Wellman has got a reasonably clear track in front of him, and now a 6-second gap back to Tim Roffey. Justin Whitcher back in the field, trying to make a move on Guy Schultz.
So yeah, just checking in with the comments. So Chris Tomlin's giving us some good information in the comments. So yeah, we are right about 7-8 laps to a tank of fuel, and we know Jai. We've confirmed that Jai took a full tank of fuel. So his pit stop, which was 33 seconds, is a full tank. So there's got to be some short fueling going on with these cars up the front. So I would look to see them come in probably with about 75 laps to go, you know, so they'll be doing a short run now, get to that 75 laps to go mark, and then sort of come in and grab that full tank of fuel and tyres, go to the end. But for the moment, Gary Wellman's just out there on his own, and it's just like a testing session for him, really. He's just driving around, and he's about to put Adam Malone a lap down.
Yeah, the acting back of Justin Whitcher and Troy Davison, and then George Phelps and Chris Finley, Paul Drady.
It's you got to sort of keep it in mind that even though, you know, Wellman's passed Malone is carrying a lot more fuel. You know, he did the full fuel pit stop of 34.4 seconds stationary time compared to Gary's 22 seconds. So, you know, if the race stays green, it'll all come out in the end. You know, Gary's going to need to pit a lot sooner than Adam will, for example. But when Adam pits, Adam will be stationary shorter because he needs a lot less fuel to make it to the end. And that applies for all the sort of top 4, top 5 cars. Good to see Kim Roffey having a good run up there in second in the purple Rogue Sim Sports car.
I love the checkered flag with Woody Woodpecker there. Oh, we're going to have a caution. We're under caution.
What have we got there?
We just missed it. Just jumped back over. Jimmy. Paul Drady got a little loose and got up into Chris Finlay, I believe it was.
I just have to manually try and find this one because replays are not queuing up properly. Here we are. So we'll go back here. Get this out of the way. Yeah, there's a bit of close contact there. Oh, it's almost like the wheels sort of jumped over each other, and Finlay, unfortunately, kicked loose. 18 and Curvis gets a piece of it as well.
That's put some heavy damage on all three of those cars.
Yes. So we'll have a look at the blimp view for this one. Yeah, it looks like Girardi sort of might have thought he might have been clear and just came up a little bit, and it's just launched. You see the wheel there. Finley's car's just launched over Girardi's one and got a fishtailing down the straight there. Nowhere near Curvis could go. Boot and spoiler exits the scene. And we're under caution for the first time tonight. So
Yeah.
that's going to mess it all up.
So what are they going to do here? Are they going to come in and the guys that haven't taken tyres take tyres, and or do they stick to the original plan?
I think Wellman's come in and he's pitted. I'm showing him as having had a second pit stop, a 25.4.
Yep, he's definitely been down pit lane.
So there's still not going to be enough fuel to make it to the end. So it's kind of, yeah. I mean, no one can make it to the end from here. With 105 laps to go. So they're all going to need a pit stop, but you would just come in now. You'd get a splash of fuel, fill it up as much as you can, and then that last stop when you do need to make it, it's going to be as short as possible, really.
Just looking at Nan Curvis' car there, some very, very heavy damage on that left front.
Just having a look through the cycle, see who's pitting and who's not. But yeah, that left front's had a bit of a hit there, but it's mostly intact. The front bumper or spoiler.
Yep.
Headlights still going, so that's good.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
But yeah, will be a little bit of an aero issue there, I'm sure. So just having a look through the haves and have not pitteds. Craig Roffey out the front has not pitted. So he's 19 laps on this stint. Adam Malone hasn't pitted, although Adam looks like he's in the pits there, so the timing data is just not updated correctly. And Nicholas Walsh has not pitted. 18 laps since he pitted.
So pace car's back in.
Right, so we're about to go racing again.
Craig Roffey has the lead and will lead us away for this restart. Rogue Sim Sport. And he's taken a jump. Great early jump there by Craig Roffey, out into the lead. And then we go too wide with Andy Barber and Gary Wellman. Nice start from Roffey, which is there on the outside, having a look around the outside. So,
oh, we've got a wreck behind.
Oh.
There's a bit of a wreck there. Let's have a look and see if we can work out what's happened there as well. There we are. That's exactly what I was talking to you about earlier at the start of the race with this dog leg, and one of the reasons why I don't like it.
A little bit of a push there, nothing in it.
Yeah, it's
a little bit
going
of
on before, but what's actually caused the incident though is when they've gone into the dog leg and the rejoin. So just the man, you're going to use the dog leg and come back up. You've got to be careful that the guys aren't there because they'll just hold their line. So unfortunately, that's caused second caution.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how these guys adjudicate that, but with NASCAR, if you're down below that yellow line and you do use that dog leg, that is on you to come back onto that racing surface. But as I said, I don't know how the boys here at the Australasian Supercar eSeries judges that. But yeah, but you're 100% right, Matt. That is just coming back through the dog leg and back onto the racing surface.
It's something that I don't like. I mean, I was speaking earlier before the race. I mean, that's exactly the scenario that I usually always see it at least once per race. With the rejoin and stuff. As you say, I don't know how the guys here interpret it and look at it. But I do know some other series, they do look at it as if you're going to use the dog leg, it's your responsibility to come back up safely. So, but yeah, that'll be for the judicial process after for them to decide.
And just looking at the cars as they sit right there, we've got two Rogue Sports, Sim Sports, two Sim Boys, and two Pinnacle cars in the top 6.
Yeah, they're starting to line up.
So we've got Craig Roffey and Kim Roffey from Rogue Sim Sports. And we got Gary Wellman and Troy Davison from Sim Boys. And then we got Justin Whitcher and Greg Spencer from Pinnacle. So this is going to be a good restart, Matt.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on, that's for sure. A few more cars taking the opportunity to call into the pits as well and maybe top up the fuel. Looks like Darren McKenzie might have got caught a lap down in that pit stop cycle. I think with the timing of that first caution coming out, might have just caught him 1 lap down. Yeah, so Adam Malone's now pitted 3 times, so he's might have copped a bit of damage. He had a long pit stop his last one. Or I could be just getting bad data, because the data does seem to be playing up a little bit tonight.
I've got Adam Malone shown the last time through pit lane in the lane for 1 minute 47.6 in his box for 102.2. So maybe he's had a little bit of a whoops, but nevertheless the lights are out on the pace car and we will get going again this time by. We've got 2 green cars, 1 Rogue Sim Sports, 1 Sim Boys. Who is going to get the jump? And they're off, and it's Rogue Sim Sports that gets the jump. That inside lane has really got a good jump there on that race, on that restart.
Yeah, 3 cars have managed to clear the first car, Gary Wellman, on the outside line. So, yeah, not a very good restart for Gary there at all.
But even still, that inside line, the Whitcher and Tim got a little bit caught out too by how quick Craig got that jump. But we see Wellman there now trying to get back up underneath. He's sticking to the low line with his teammate just behind him. Wellman not game at the moment to use that dog leg. I don't think there'll be a lot of guys wanting to use that dog leg after seeing what happened with Jai.
Yeah. Although in saying that, these guys are racing pretty hard now, pretty aggressive. Craig Roffey's looking in the rearview mirror at these guys and encouraging them to keep racing as hard, because it means he's skipping away now. Almost 2-second lead for Craig Roffey. Jai Schultz is back up there now in 6th spot in the blue car. Yeah, Craig Roffey's loving the battling going on behind him, because he has skipped clear. He's 2 seconds ahead already.
That's great. The second flying lap after the restart, and he's out to that. While these guys are battling, they're just going to hold each other up.
But a couple of them have dropped into the 27s now too. Roffey's dropped to 27.8, and yeah, there's a number of drivers that have dropped into the 27 mark as well, 27.9s. So the pace has definitely gone up.
We can see there the jump as they come back through onto that track. They're jumping on the brakes, and yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I just do not like that dog leg.
No, but it is what it is.
Might jump on board Troy Davison, mate, and go for a ride with him for a lap or two, just to see what it's like out there.
Yeah, let's jump on the roll bar. There we are. Take me half an hour to find the button.
See Jai, they're heavy on the brakes in the 1,
3 and
2,
4.
3 and 4, yeah.
Used to be 1 and 2, now it's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So Davison's had a good run. No, Jai's still there on the outside.
Again, heavy on the brakes in the 3 and 4. Past the start finish line. This time they both stay out of the dog leg. like you can see there on some of those pictures from the outside of the car, just how much angle is on the track. Nowhere near our normal angle that we get on the super speedways and some of the mile and a half. Even Dover has more banking than this place.
Mm.
And you see there now Gary Willman being able to, Troy Davidson being able to clear Jai Schultz and just starting to get a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah, Troy's putting the hammer down there. I'm just wondering if that damage on Jai's car might be just starting to hammer those tyres a little bit. Might be causing him just to put a little bit extra heat into those front tyres, or he could be just sort of backing off to save a little bit.
Well, the thing too is, has he taken his second set of tyres in one of those stops? And if he has, he's in trouble because the damage would definitely be hindering the wear. And we could see him before when we were on board with Roy. Really, he was jumping on the brakes reasonably heavy, and I don't recall seeing him do that before in that early stages of the race.
No. Just noticed as well, Craig Roth is smoking them at the moment.
5 seconds over Gary Willman.
Yeah, I mean he's only done 17 laps more, so he might have a really light fuel load as well. But he's consistently 0.3 to 0.4 of a second quicker than the cars behind him. I think Craig's strategy from here to the end is he's just going to go flat out as fast as he can, build up as much of a lead as he can, hope it stays green, jump in, do his final pit stop, and come out and see how he goes from there.
Yeah, well, Craig definitely is on the move because he set the fastest time in the lap of the race at 27.71. Then the next one back is Gary Willman with a 27.92. So he is definitely on the move.
He's definitely flying. It's 5 second lap now, gap. It just keeps building.
Getting a little bit congested there behind Jai Schultz. We got 2 Pinnacle cars there, a Rogue Sport, Jai Schultz, a couple of Sim boys. So that's heading up back here for 4th through to about 9th.
Yeah, Kim Ruffy's done a really good job. He's got up there. Initially it was the track position from the pit stop cycle that got him up there, but he's managed to stay up there now. He's stay in the top 5, so he's definitely got genuine pace up there.
Yeah, look, I'm just keeping an eye watching Jai, and I've got to say that damage to that car is really hurting him right now. It doesn't look like there's a great deal there, but just with the way he's driving that thing now, it doesn't look like it's as comfortable for him as it was in the early stages.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the funny thing with these cars. I noticed it last week when I did a race as well. First one in a while, the car just felt a bit off on a long run later in the race, and didn't feel like I was able to hold onto the tyres as well as everybody else. And after the race, I had a look. I'd had some damage into the wall on the right side, and there was only a few little crinkles and stuff, but it's just enough to sort of change the aero of the car and change the way that it goes into the corner, and it sort of puts a bit more load or a bit of heat into the tyre. And short term it's okay, but long term it can really start to affect it.
Yeah, I can't comment on it, Matt, because as you know, I'm a NASCAR man, and the steering wheel's on the wrong side of me of these things for me. As much as I'd love to get in and have a run, it's just in the sim it just feels strange because I've come from single seaters to left-hand drive. So
we're going to have a wreck in the background there. Caution's still not out? Yep, caution's out now. Yep. So just in the background of the shot there, I could see that there was a bit of an incident going on. So we'll have a look back and try and unpack that one. Sort of, while we're doing that, Mark, just keep an eye on the pit stops and see if anyone's sort of ducking in. So I think the incident actually started up the front here. So that's Nigel Patton and Maxfield. That's where the incident started there. Oh, and there's a separate one in the background as well. So this first contact hasn't caused the caution. So we're just seeing there, looks like a car might have just come up, might have got a clear call and it's there, but that hasn't actually caused the caution. What's caused the caution is in the background.
Sorry, mate. Gary Wellman's in.
Gary Wellman's putting. Probably could make it to the end from here, but yeah, Paul Greg Spencer, he's seen the incident happen up the front, and he's jumped on the brakes, and then that's caused. He's jumped on it hard. It's caused him to sort of slow down there, and unfortunately, he's just been tagged by Matson in the background. I think there's Matson, and yeah, so that's going to be possibly not over for Spencer, or at least a big pit stop to fix that one.
Yeah, Wellman's in. Craig Roffey, Troy Davison, Tim Roffey's in. Joe Phelps is in. Andy Barber's in, Raymond Jagger's in.
Yeah,
so
I think
all the front guys have come down pit lane, mate.
In. Yeah, I think we're in the window. I think we're there. I think we're in the window where everybody can make it to the end here now. So 76 laps to go. You make sure you clutch it and or turn the car off and save as much as you can on these pacing laps, and sort of maybe save a little bit in the earlier part of the run, but then sort of the last 50 laps sort of just drop the hammer and go for it, and you should be able to make it home from here.
Now, I'm actually showing that Nicholas Welsh has been able to jump Craig Roffey in the pit stop.
Yeah, he's had a pretty quick stop, 12-second pit stop. Craig Roffey, because he had less fuel, right? So he's had to sit longer. Craig Roffey's had to sit for 25 seconds compared to everybody else sitting around the 12 to 14 second mark. We'll see if we can bring that data up for you. So if we have a look at our pit box times here, so this is the time that they're stationary in pit lane. We can see, the top 5 are all ranging from 14 seconds to 12 seconds, which that suggests to us that's fuel only. But Craig Roffey, because he had one less pit stop, he had less fuel in the tank, so they had to put in more fuel in the car for him to be able to get a full tank to make it home. So he's had to sit there for that 11 seconds extra than everybody else, and that sort of just dropped him down a 6th spot. But what it means is that everybody should be all on the same page now. They should be all filled up to make it home. And so there should be no one really needing to do a pit stop from here on out to make it home.
I'll just leave you for a minute, mate, and I'll come back to you in a just a quick minute.
So we just had a few cars take a wave around. Justin Whitcher being one of those cars, and Adam Malone as well.
All right, Matt, I'm back. I've just to sprint down the pit lane. I've been in the garage. I'm not going to say which garage because I do know that some people are watching the stream while they're racing. The team I went into, they think they can make it home on fuel from here, but it's going to be very, very tight.
Yeah, I would say if you're at the stage where you think you might be able to make it home, you probably just want to conserve the gas for the first, until maybe 40 laps to go. You want to conserve, but don't get too far behind the leaders if they go hard.
But we've seen it again, Matt. Is that we've a clean race early, and now a couple of cautions.
Let's all go back here. So too wide. Yeah, certainly the pattern of the race, we sort of knew that that first half would be pretty quiet, and then yeah, the second half would be a lot more sort of cautions and action going on. As we see, Josh Schultz using the dogleg, trying to get the lead. He's managed to get it there. Nice pass there of Davison for the lead. Oh, yeah, it's looking. Gary Wellman's hit pit road.
I wonder if he's been
Stop
done
and
for
go.
speeding or something.
Yeah, he's come to a stop and then he's gone again. And Mackenzie's come to a. Mackenzie's got damage there as well.
And Mackenzie's got heavy damage down that right side of the car. He's been into the outside wall.
Just have a quick little look at this. I think this is just going to be Gary coming into the pit lane. He might have copped a stop and go just for the restart. He might have sort of jumped at the zone there maybe, or incorrectly done the restart. Oh yeah, so he stayed up. Oh, just looking at the replay. Right, it's just live back there now.
One of those iRacing things, I'd say.
Yeah, so Gary's now battling because he is, well, he's now effectively one lap down. He is now the last, the lucky dog candidate, so he needs a caution to get back onto the lead lap. So yeah, maybe it might have been an incorrect restart procedure. He might have sort of jumped the start there incorrectly, and that's given him a penalty, and it looked like a stop and go because he came in and he was only stationary for 2.1 seconds, and then he was away. But yeah, that's dropped him down one lap now, so he is just going to sit back there. He needs to keep an eye out for Chris Finlay. He is the next car one lap down, so yeah, as long as Gary stays in front of Chris, when the caution comes back out, he should get the lucky dog, get back on the lead lap.
Don't know if Chris has been able to get his car repaired though. I'll just go back and have a look and see what damage is actually on his car. So
Yeah.
Chris has got his car repaired, so they've done a great job in repairing that car. And Chris, where are you?
Andy Barber's making a good run now for second, looking to come up and try and take over second spot. But that outside momentum, Davison was able to hold him off.
Now I can tell you, Matt, that Gary Willman and Chris Finlay are nose to tail.
Yeah, I don't think Chris will pass him. Gary's in the, Gary needs those positions for the championship, so I think Chris will be doing the teammate thing and helping him out. So I just think they need to watch out for Adam alone. He's the next one who's a lap down, so if he can get past Gary.
And Gary's making a move on him, Rocky, right now. And that will put him, if he gets this move done, that'll put him on the tail of championship leader, Raymond Jago.
And Raymond's loving it. Raymond will love seeing Gary lap down there. He just needs to stay in front of him, cover any moves that he might make, and just keep him behind and keep building that championship lead going into the last race. As Andy Barber has moved up into second. We hear that Jai is good for fuel to the end.
So that caution's come out and really helped Jai, because would have been now to get that damage repaired. Let's see if it has been repaired and we get a good race to the end. We see the guys now really using all the track, using that dogleg, the road and the Sim Sports behind Schultz and Barber. And again, we see in the background there, in that camera shot, Raymond Jagger just sitting in sixth position, and that's where he's been the last couple of races and been able to come through and take the race win. Joy has moved up high on the track now, but that has not helped him. He's really opened the door for Barber. Got his nose car back in front, so if Joy can, he needs to get down on that low line and use that low line to his benefit. You see there, he comes through that dog leg and right back up to the fence, through that high line, then comes back, turns back down, just off about half a car length off the ideal line through the turn. Down to the low line again, nose to tail, staying low. Guy really turns hard back down through that dog leg, and he's just got that speed to be able to wash straight back up in front of Barber.
It's a really good battle, this one at the front here, and Craig Roffey's starting to nibble away on the back of Davison for third as well. So Raymond's got into fifth spot, and Raymond certainly needs to try and maximise and get as many spots as he can while Gary's having a bad run.
See there, Andy just running that dip in that join between the race surface and the infield. And now Barber's decided to mirror Phelps' racing line.
Yeah, the outside.
He's set this up well. He got the speed to carry it through and take the lead.
The outside line's just holding the momentum. It's just can't seem to get the job done on the inside line. Ooh, goes a little bit sideways, kicking sideways there under brakes.
Yeah, both cars there were a little bit sideways.
They're right on the limit, pushing as hard as they can. But, yeah, we see another good dive here, but just watch that outside line, the momentum that you get from running that outside line. Carries you down the stretch. Might be close enough this time now.
Yeah, what they have to be careful here is we can see Joy been using that dog leg, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't turn down when Barber decides to stay out and use that track. That's the other problem with that dog leg.
This is a really good battle. That's side by side for the lead here. Lap after lap, they're doing a really good job, giving each other heaps of room. It's good because that's the danger when you're racing this hard like this. Someone could just overdrive the car just a little bit and cause a bit of contact. So it's really good to see. As we see, Davidson's thinking about sticking his nose in there to make it 3 wide. Barber's got the job done now.
Yeah. So Stoltz just wants to cool those tyres off just that fraction. Stay within touch. You know, we've still got 55 laps to go. You've still got plenty of race time to really battle for this race lead. Just got to stay with him. Again, using that dog leg, he's been able to get back, and he's having another good dig at that race lead.
Yeah, Andy this time going for the outside line, trying to keep the momentum. I think he might have got a fraction a little bit too high in that corner there, which would have been 1 and 2, I think. Yeah. So I think he went a fraction a bit too high, and it's allowed Jai to get a run on the inside and get him there. Craig Roffey's moved up to third. What's happened to Davidson? Joy's dropped to 5th spot. Too busy watching these front two that we didn't see what happened behind.
Again, though, Matt, as we've said all season, all season 6 has been a feast of racing right throughout the field. We just seem to take our eyes off somewhere and then to look at something else, and then someone or something happens where we were looking.
Yeah, Barber, he's managed to get up there on the inside as well. So, yeah, this lead is just changing lap after lap. It's really, really good to see. As much as we dislike this sort of track configuration, at the moment it's putting on some really good racing.
Yeah, and Jager now up there battling for third.
Yeah, he's nibbling away on the back of Craig Roffey there. He looks like he might be able to get the job done. So I think Raymond's going to be sort of knocking on this battle for first and second as well soon. It's not what Gary Wellman wants to see up in front of him. Of course, Gary's trapped one lap down at the moment.
Well, we're coming up to 50 to go. Then anything's possible. We're likely to see another caution, but for the race's sake, let's hope we don't.
Yeah, it's just so if they keep battling like this for another 50 laps.
So we now got two groups, one through to 4. Excuse me. And then we got Gary's a lap down and running in 9th place. But then we got Tim Roffey, Nicholas Welsh. No, they're not battling. They're actually lap down. So
Yeah, no, this is Finlay and Wellman who are both one lap down at the moment, in 8th and 9th. So they're having a little bit of a battle here. Kim Roffey sitting behind them though is actually 5th spot. So it's all a little bit out of sequence at the moment. We've got a couple of lap cars just in the middle of this sort of group, just throwing it off a bit.
Now Jai has actually dropped from 2nd place down to 4th now. So maybe he hasn't been able to get all that damage repaired, or he's just hurt those tyres running so hard with Barber up front.
Yeah, and Barber's kicking away as well. He's almost up to a 2nd gap as well. Andy Barber having another really good strong run. Just hoping that he can bring it home and yeah, ice the cake really.
He's due for some good luck.
Yeah, he is. He's had some really good runs this season, but he just has had a little bit of bad luck in the last quarter of the race. So it's just kind of taken those good results away from him.
But Schultz has now dropped off a 2.5 seconds off Jager. So and dropping back into the clutch of Tim Rocky.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe all that running side by side, battling for the lead with Andy Barber sort of took a bit out of the tyres or not, or yeah, or whether maybe he's just having to back off just to save a little bit of fuel. But we think he was going to be good to lean on fuel, so maybe not that. Davidson's really dropped. I think Davidson's had contact with the wall at some point.
Yeah, by the look of that outside, that right side, he's definitely touched the wall.
Yeah, we might have a replay on it, but let's have a look. That looks like it's after it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so he's come up from the dog leg. Oh, so it's teammate on teammate. That's what's happened there.
Brad Finley?
Chris Finley.
No.
Chris Finley.
Chris.
Yep. So we'll go back and have another look. So yeah, Davison's come up from the dog leg. And he's come right up to the top, and then yeah, he's just come up into his teammate Finlay. Once again, that's that dog leg. You know, it happened so quick. He might have probably got a call that he was clear, and then he started coming up, and in the split seconds that it took him to come up the track, it wasn't clear anymore, and his teammate was there. But yeah, that's that re-entry from dog leg. So.
Now up the front, we've still got Barber out the front, but Rocky and Jager have actually closed the gap down. It's now down under half a second. And you can actually see it there on the screen, how close that is.
So we're just getting word that the Stingray, Jai, is just waiting for the right moment to strike. So But I think he's maybe just saving his car a little bit at the moment. So he has dropped 2 seconds back from that top 3. It's not much in lap times though, that's so close.
So the last time by, the quickest was Craig Rocky with 28.1. Then you had Andy Barber 28.2, Jago 28.3, Schultz at 28.3. So
yeah, they're just basically Barber and Groffy that lap run pretty much identical times. As we said,
yep.
Roffy's making the move on the inside of Barber here. Craig Roffy takes over the lead. So now Jaeger is stalking on the back of Barber there, hoping to make up another position. Inflict a bit more pain on Wellman. Wellman's on 8th spot at the moment. Can't go any higher unless somebody crashes out.
That battle here for Joy still aren't heated up, and
yeah, Kim Roffy's right on the back of him, stalking on the back of him, and then the next two are lap down cars. And Justin Whitcher's having a pretty lonely run at the moment, sitting in 7th, just out on his own, almost 7 seconds off the lead now. Got 5 cars are retired from the race, and I think Paul Drady's sitting in the pits as well, so that would make it 6. So you're gonna see Greg Spencer get back out there now. They've put the front bumper and bonnet on the car.
good to see him get back out there. And I know he enjoys his racing when he can get to do it. Look, the one person we haven't spoken a lot about tonight is the 173 of Peter Matheson. Not a good night for him tonight, but again he's just rolling around there and getting points. He's 5 laps down, but nevertheless, as I said, he's out there getting points. He's been able to stay out of the road of the leaders when they've come up to him, and it's good to see him out there rolling around.
Yeah, I think the most important thing there for him is he's got a clean car. You know, he might be a little bit slower than the rest, and he's been 5 laps down, but his car's clean, and just by virtue of him still running and finishing the race, he's 13th spot at the moment, and it's going to be, judging by the laps, I mean that's probably going to be the worst that he can drop. If anybody else drops out of the race, he can certainly pick up more spots, but yeah, he's probably not going to drop any lower than 13th.
Well, the next car back is Darren McKenzie on 39 laps, and I don't think Darren's going to make those laps up.
No, not enough laps to go, so yeah, so no, slow and steady. See Barber's right on the back of Roffey again, looking to make the pass.
Kim Roffey is still just shadowing Jai Schultz, but Jai's been able to make a little bit of a gap now, just out to half a second. So this time by, we'll see 30 laps remaining. Are we going to see another caution, or are we going to see a green flags run to the end. Do they have enough fuel for the end, to the race to the end? Because as we've said, this race has been ultra quick. Best times, they're only now still under a second off the best times that they've started the race with. So these guys will be using fuel, especially these three at the front, really battling as we've heard the little spies from the household where Jai is. He's just sitting back. He's been able to save some fuel. He doesn't have to push that car as hard. Letting those three out front really do all the work. But he will have to start making his move to catch those guys fairly soon.
He will be, yeah. 30 laps to go, and he's for just under 3 seconds. The lap times are all very, very similar at the moment. 28.2s, 28.3s.
So again tonight, Matt, we've been really, the car number isn't as high as some of the other the races we've had, like at the mile and a half and the super speedways. But again, we've been spoilt for race action right throughout the field, right from one down to the last place car.
We have, yeah. It might be a smaller field than the last time we were here, but that's also meant that there's less cautions as well, or possibly less cautions. Which has seen some really good long green flag runs. But yeah, there's lots of little battles going on out throughout the field, and as always, it's really good to see. Got two sort of like battle packs at the moment. The fourth and fifth battle pack that we're watching at the moment, and then the first, second and third pack as well.
You've just got this feeling that Gary may be thinking that the championship has just started to get out of his reach here now tonight. With one more round to go, he really had to press home tonight, and probably had to get that top three finish, and as you said earlier, finish in front of Jaeger.
Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't cut him out at this stage. I mean, we've seen him come back from a lot of laps down than this in Super Speedway.
Well, what he started from pit lane or something one race, so I can't remember. It was a Super Speedway and went 2 or 3 laps down and come back and won it. So let's hope he can do it. But yeah, it's you've just got to start thinking. Maybe it's done for him now.
It could be, but I mean, from what I know, I was driving, he won't give up, that's for sure. I mean, one caution will just turn the complexion of this race completely for him. There's 1 lap down, but there's only 7 cars on the lead lap, so you get a caution. He becomes the 8th car on the lead lap, and then, it's be very easy for him to pick up a 2nd or 3rd spot finish, or even a win from there. With not many cars on the lead lap, he wouldn't have very far to go.
And if that happens, I can see his aggression level coming up and really trying to fight his way through, and probably even giving a few love taps to the guys in front of him.
Well, exactly, yeah. And I mean, if he has teammates in front of him, they'll certainly get out his way as well, and they'll do everything they can to help him. So it's definitely not. It's never over till it's over. That's the good thing we enjoy about this kind of racing, is that there's could be many twists and turns to go. So Jaeger looks like he's going to try and press on to get that second spot from Barber at the moment. Looking to make a move on the inside there. Not quite able to do it. The outside line really holds the momentum. It's very, very hard for the cars to get a good run on the inside and get past.
And just looking back to fourth and fifth, Tim Roffey still hasn't given up on the back of Joy Schultz. So we've got this three at the front and these two battling for fourth and fifth. And then riding behind that, as you said, is Gary Wellman.
Yeah, Gary's just sitting there waiting for, keeping himself in contention, just in case the cards fall his way.
Now, I think with 19 laps to go, if Joy's going to make his move and make that run, he's got to do it now.
Yeah, the gap's out to 5 seconds now, or 5.5. I think that running side by side with Barber might have hurt him, and it probably hurt his car more than Barber's car, as you say, because of a little bit of aero damage on his car.
Yeah, definitely. Well, at this point of the time, mate, I'm going to run through and again thank our sponsors. My Private Cellar is our premier sponsor for this series. Hot Toddys, RKJ Web Services, Whitcher Electrical, and I'm missing one other, United
Electrical, yep.
Electrical, and I think that's it.
Hot Toddys? You got
Hot Toddys, yeah, I got Hot Toddys. Definitely need Hot Toddys here at the moment. But look, check our sponsors out. The series isn't able to be brought to you without our major sponsors, and support those guys that support us in bringing this racing to you. And again, season 6 has been an absolute blinder. I know every race that I've turned up to has been fantastic, and again we've been spoiled right throughout the race, and from P1 right through to P35 in some cases, even 40 in some.
It's always good, hard, close battling, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Jager has now in the second, and Gary Wellman is actually starting to make the run and starting the battle with Joy. But also Kim Roffey now is really starting to have a go at Joy Schultz for fourth place.
Yeah, 15 laps to go. It's kind of if you've got them, use them now. If you've got anything else left, it's time to use it.
But again, we've seen the standard from Jager. You know, is sitting thereabouts. That last quarter of the race, being able to save those tyres and save that car to have a real good run for the race win. And there is high pressure there on Craig.
Yeah, ramming really diamond the arc on that corner to get that, to line up that run for the dog leg. But Craig was also running for the dog leg, so ramming kind of had nowhere to go. Craig's doing a really good job of just positioning the car. Making it really hard for Jager to get the pass done.
Yeah, that Mustang's probably 10 times as wide as what it needs to be, but you're 100% right, Matt. Doing a great job in making that car very wide and getting it in the right spots.
Yeah, we saw on that straight as well, Craig very early covered the inside, so that Raymond couldn't have it. So yeah, he's positioned the car to sort of not aggressively block, but yeah, he certainly wants to be on the inside down here. Looks like the 4th and 5th cars, yeah, they're just sort of dropping back even more now. 6.5 seconds back to 4th place. So it looks like it is going to be just a real battle of these first 3 cars.
Yeah, and we're going to see lap cars, and Jager's been able to get out in front. So Jager has taken the lead here with 10 laps to go. Can Roffey fight back? He takes back down through the dogleg. So he really needed to get that job done before they get to these lap cars, and he's been able to do it as he comes up on the back of, I believe that's
Spencer.
Spencer.
Patton? No, Patton, the 90 car, I think.
Never the matter. He's done the right thing and moved out of the road to give both these guys a chance to battle for another 9 laps.
Yeah, he got well out of the way just to give them, so that he would be no influence on their battle, which is really good to see. Looks like Raymond's kind of timed this very nicely. He's sort of just pulling a little bit of a gap now, and Andy Barber unfortunately sort of dropped off.
Oh, and we've had a change for 4th and 5th. Kim Roffey's been able to get past Joy Schultz. I actually missed that while we were watching that lead battle. So Joy is now back to 5th place.
Yeah, and that's Nicholas Walsh in 6th battling him as well. So Joy is in danger of dropping back down to 6th and being the last car on the lead lap. We'll go back up the front here, and Raymond's just dropped the hammer. Bad lap for Roffey that time around, almost half a second slower. The context of this race where it's been so close, Roffey dropping half a second a lap, that last lap, is huge. And Andy Barber as well, dropped half a second. Yeah, Raymond really just dropped the hammer for that lap.
Still got a little bit to set a lap record. You're still 200ths behind Craig Roffey's fastest lap. So I don't think we'll see that lap time tumble tonight.
No, and I think Raymond sort of backed it back as well. He's pulled out a really fast lap. He's built himself a lead of a second, and he realises that he's pretty comfortable with that now. And I think he's just dialed it back a little bit, knowing that he's got that little bit of extra pace just up his sleeve if he needs it. If Roffey gets close to him again, he can sort of put the hammer down again, but I think he's going to just be pretty comfortable now.
I've actually just jumped on board and just listening to see he is short shifting, and he is off the gas a lot earlier than normal. So
they might be fuel saving then, because they're all running at really identical times. They're all running 28.5s. Up the top four cars last time around all ran 28.5s, all same lap.
So 2 laps to go.
Two laps to go, and they're just working traffic now, so they'll just be hoping that they can make it to the end without running out of fuel.
Yep. So white flag is now being shown to Raymond Jager.
And back in 6th, Nicholas Walsh has made the pass for 5th, so Joy Schultz has now dropped back to the 6th spot.
Just listening to this last lap of Jager's, and I tell you what, he's so gentle on that throttle.
Yeah, he's using up his gap, and there he comes to grab the win. Roffey in 2nd. Andy Barber, another top 3. Really good finish there. And Kim Roffey, really good run, 4th place as well. Walsh in 5th. Joe Schultz capping off a good run with 6th spot there. But
No,
it's,
another great race for these boys tonight. Definitely put on a show again for our spectators. We hope everyone enjoyed that.
yeah, that was really good execution from Raymond Jaeger there as well, because uh, Gary Wellman didn't have the best night, and Raymond really needed to capitalise on it to get as many points as he can in that championship battle, and he's gone and done that by grabbing the win. Gary could only finish 7th.
So that puts a little bit of a gap at the top of the championship. But as you said, Matt, you can never count out Gary. All it's going to take really is probably Jager not to finish next week, and it's going to be very tight.
Yeah, and the nature of this racing, anything's possible.
And I can't even remember where we are next week.
We'll be Homestead next week.
Homestead.
Yeah.
So let's run through the results. First place for Pinnacle Esports, Raymond Jager. Second, Craig Rocky for Rogue Sim Sports. And great result there for Andy Barber from the Southern Stars Esports. Kim Roffey in the fourth, Nicholas Welsh fifth, Joy Schultz sixth, Gary Willman seventh, eighth, Justin Whitcher ninth, Adam Malone, Chris Finlay in 10th. So that's your top 10 as we roll over. Todd Maxwell in 11th. 12th home was Troy Davidson. 13th was Peter Matheson. 14th, Greg Spencer. 15th, Nigel Patton. Darren McKenzie, a great run early, but unfortunately fell back to 16th. 17th, Jamie Nankervis. 18th, Paul Drady. 19th, Lucky Mike. And 20th, Peter Gretton. 31st, Kay Donnelly. And unfortunate to see the police car out so early in Shea Mello. So we're just waiting for these guys to come up into the green room, and we will get our post-race chats underway. So that obviously that team that I went and had a little chat to was able to make it home on fuel.
Yeah, I think everyone was able to make it home there, so that was really good.
I see Andy Barber up into another room. We might do the sneaking. I'll go grab him and bring him back. So just went and gone crook on Andy. He'll join us in just a moment. Okay, we had him, now he's gone. All right. What I'll do is I will actually drag him into the broadcast booth by screaming and yelling by the ears. Andy, welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations on third place tonight.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, it's pretty tough on that one, especially with the tyres. But wish I had a little bit more at the end. But yeah, in fuel save mode there as well. So, but certainly happy with that, and good battles as well throughout the race.
Yeah, mate, we've seen you in the last couple of weeks. You've been thereabouts, but just things haven't gone your way. Like a big one last week that seen you drop way back. The week before, just mixed up in someone else's accident. But you've got, as you said, you're happy with third place tonight. Great battles right throughout the field, as it has been right throughout season 6 here at the Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to pretty much suss out everybody's strategy for tonight, and mine was probably just the drive to the meatball, considering we just had that one set and the 200 laps distance. So I got 125 laps out of it, and I had 4% when I pitted. So luckily that caution came out, because I was probably going to be in the next lap or two to field a home, get a set of tyres.
Yeah, Matt and I were discussing through the race about the tyre where he. So was it the right front that really hurt tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more so on that right front and turn two as well. I saw a couple of drivers have alternate lines in there as well, and yeah, I kind of entered pretty late into the corner, and it straightened up the run down the back straight, and that kind of contributed to me looking after the tyre. At that first pit stop, once we had that really big green flag run, the boys, Darren had 22%, Adam had 7, and I still had 44. So, yeah, we just try to reevaluate what we were doing, and yeah, happy with the result.
Well, mate, you definitely, and it's good to see you up in on the podium. Before we let you go, mate, the usual shout out and love to sponsors and supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Just Performance e-streaming, you guys for putting on the broadcast. We all love watching it each week. So thanks to you guys. Also Raymond for the league and running everything as well. And yeah, just the Southern Stars boys, Adam, Darren, Tom, who's overseas in England at the moment. And yeah, sponsors, Mish's Excel Garage, RBI Trading Cards, Tiona Holiday Parks, South Brisbane Storms. And yeah, look forward to next week at the finale.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. Where we going? So, mate, again, congratulations on third place tonight, and we're talking to you again next week to round out a great season 6.
Absolutely. And yeah, congratulations to the other 2 podium getters as well. Great race.
All right, mate. Thank you, and thanks for your time tonight. Well, the second place getter, Mr. Craig Roffey. We will drag him into the booth. We won't have to drag him in yelling and screaming like we did Mr. Barber. Mr. Craig Roffey, congratulations on second place and welcome to the booth again, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's good to finally be here after a couple of not so good rounds, but yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys have an up and down season. We're just saying to Andy, he's been unlucky in a lot of races. You've also been mixed up in a few little things towards the end of the race. Unfortunately, tonight you just didn't have Jager's measure. I know I stuck down and found out about your fuel. So obviously you were good on fuel. And so yeah, were you close on fuel, or did you end up having some breathing room?
No, it wasn't close at all. I was clutching it, fuel saving, short shifting. I had 0.1 over the line, so it was very very close. Yeah.
I jumped on board with Jager. I know he was doing the same thing. He was very gentle through the turns, and very short and just ease that gas back on coming out of the turns. Um, uh, Tire wear. How did you find your tires tonight?
Surprisingly, I did pretty well on my tires. That first caution that we had, I can't remember what lap it was. I'll just have a quick look. But yeah, that first caution I had 60-70% still, and that was lap.
Oh, I can't
Yeah,
remember
I
when
don't
it
know what
was.
it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had good tires, so that's why I stayed out. And then yeah, I just set on the next one. I set my fuel to a certain lap that I wanted to hit, and then that's when I took the early start on the restart just to get that gap and just push. But
Yeah, we've seen.
unfortunately, yeah, yellow flag come out and that just ruined my plan because I knew the other guys were all pitting, so I would have had to put more fuel in. So I needed that gap to come out equal. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately the caution came out and yeah, I had to put more fuel in, which dropped me back a few, and then yeah, I had to work my way up again, but got there in the end.
Yeah. Um, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Next week off to New Hampshire, I think it was. Homestead. Love it or hate it, mate.
I'm pretty sure I've had a few good results there, so yeah, but you can say that about any track, and it's all about the night and what happens. But yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, all right, mate. Well, again, congratulations on second place. But before we kick you out, love to sponsors and supporters.
Yeah, first of all, just the Rogue Sim Sports boys. Um, we don't have any sponsors, so if you want to come on, yeah, flick us a message. You guys in the broadcast do an awesome job, and Raymond and the team for running the league. Um, yeah, that's about it. It's pretty good. Love it.
All right, mate. Well, we'll see you next week. I think it's a long race to finish the season off. And we wish you all the best. And again, congratulations on second place tonight.
No worries. Cheers, mate. Hope to talk to you next week.
Yep, definitely, mate. All right. So and we'll bring up Mr. Raymond Jager, the man himself, the league owner and winner of tonight's race. Mr. Raymond Jager, welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Things went pretty well tonight.
Mate, I've got to ask you, do you have a crystal ball in that car? Because you just seem to always be able to position yourself for that last 10 lap sprint to the end and just in the right place at the right time and really good run home.
No crystal ball, mate, but I suppose it's just experience, mate. We've been running these things for what is it, 6 seasons now, and you just sort of learn how to sort of manage the tires and fuel and things like that, just to position yourself in the right area at the end. Obviously, you need a bit of luck sometimes at some tracks, but tonight was not really one of those. It was all about just making sure you looked after your stuff enough to be there at the end. So yeah, no, we've got a pretty good grasp on it at this point. Myself, Justin, Greg, and Nige.
Yeah. Now, mate, I jumped on board myself with you. That last couple of laps, I noticed you short shifting just a little bit. Very easy on the gas and very easy on the gas out of the turn. Were you getting close on fuel or were you pretty safe?
Yeah, no, I still had 3 laps in the tank, man. So I was like a second and a bit ahead, and I was just sort of nursing at home, basically. I'd already had a call from the crew chief about tyres, so I was just sort of nursing it to make sure we got home and sort of managed that gap back to Craig. So yeah, no, I had plenty of fuel.
All right. Since you brought up tyres, we heard from Andy. One of his stops, he was down to 4% on that right front. How close did you get?
Yeah, so on the first change, I was down to 9%, so I ran them right to the end. I know a lot of the boys probably pitted on that 106, I think, caution. That was probably the right time to change. I got a little bit lucky, and there was another caution around 122, I think. And that's when I took the tyres. So yeah, I would have probably been stuffed if there was not that caution at 120, because I think everyone just about took their tyres at 106, and if I had to pit under green to take tyres, I would have probably lost a lap or two. So yeah, it would have been a completely different race, but got a bit lucky there. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, again, a great race from you. You've had to have been smiling a little bit when you see Gary Wellman end up a lap down and behind you in the review mirror for most of the race.
Yeah, it's the only way we're going to beat Gaz. He obviously must have got a black flag at some point and had to come back down the lane. So I think he was on for another podium if he didn't get that black flag. So very, very happy he did. I think he still finished 7th, so it's not an actual disaster for him. But obviously, we're missing that round just after the reset. It's going to be tough for him. I think it's probably going to extend the gap to sort of 20 points now, and that's pretty hard to lose in one round. But all it takes is me to not finish and Gaz
Yeah,
do what he does and win the race. And yeah.
Yeah, what I worked out is that you need not to finish next week, and he has to win.
Yeah,
So
I think that is pretty much the case. But this series, it's definitely possible that that can happen. So, he's won, what is it? Something stupid, 5 out of 9 now. So, and I mean, he missed 2 of those races, so it's really 5 out of 7. So, he's always a chance to win the race, and I think he's pretty good at Homestead from memory. So, yeah, look, we'll just rock up next week. We'll try and finish in the top 5 and see what that does for us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, it's been a great series. I mean to say, I've had fun calling the races when I've been able to get here. I know the boys, Matt and Carl, have been excited about the racing. It's been a great season by the boys in the series, and what a way to finish at next week, and maybe another championship win for you.
It has been an amazing season. All the boys that come out and race each week have done an amazing job. Like I think most weeks the margin of victory has been ridiculously small. So I mean, as we know, Gaz has won most of them, but it's been pretty close every time. So it's been a great season, like always. I can't thank the guys that come out and race with us each week enough. Like without them, there's no point putting on the racing, obviously, if they're not going to rock up. So, I mean, we've seen fields drop a bit towards the back end of this season, but that's just sort of made the racing even better because you've got the experienced guys that rock up each and every week, rocking up still and putting on amazing shows each week, and just stoked to be able to win one because they're not easy to win as much as you'd think it is with the way Gary reels them off.
Well, I mean to say, you look at it and it can be what anyone in that top 10 to top 15 with 10 laps to go could win that race.
Yeah, honestly, man, there's like you said, 10 or 12 blokes that rock up each and every week that like, on their night they can win the race. Like they're just we've got a really good bunch that as I said, have rocked up each and every week for the best part of 6 seasons now. So yeah, they do a great job, and the racing's pretty clean, like you saw tonight. We give each other plenty of room, and especially around this sort of track where there's braking involved and stuff, so people have different brake points and stuff, and we just give plenty of room to make sure that there's not ridiculously unneeded cautions and stuff. So no, I love the group we've got, and it's a bit pedantic at times with some of the stuff post race, but drivers get heated, eh?
Yeah, unfortunately that happens no matter what race season or series you race. But Raymond, look again, congratulations on the race win tonight. But before we go and kick you out so we can have a cup of tea and open our bottle of wine from my Private Cellars, shout out to supporters and sponsors, mate.
Yeah, obviously, firstly to the boys at Pinnacle Esports, Greg, Nigel, Justin, and Matt. Without those boys, I wouldn't get on and race. Like there'd be no point. So they make it fun to get on and have a run. But then obviously we've got our sponsors for the team: RKJ Web Services, Whitcher Electrix, and My Private Cellar. The league sponsors: we've got Whitcher Electrix, RKJ Web Services, Hot Toddys Heating Installs, United Electrical Solutions. You boys at Performance East Streaming who do an unbelievable job every week, calling the races, and Matty does an unbelievable job on the cameras every week. So huge shout out to him. And of course, the main sponsor, My Private Cellar for the league. Their financial backing is the reason that we can bring these pictures to you each week. So without them, you just wouldn't be watching it or calling it. So yeah, huge shout out to My Private Cellar, who's been with us for I think it's 4 seasons now. So yeah, huge shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Matt's had to work especially hard tonight because he's had to join me in commentating and pushing everyone's buttons. So a big shout out to Matt tonight. And to you again, Raymond, congratulations on the race win. And we will see you next week for the final.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Hopefully talk to you again next week.
Yep, he's hoping. All right, mate. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
See ya. Well, there you have it, Matt. What a great way to finish a race off. Raymond's just, as I said, he just seems to have that crystal ball in that car and can really get that last run with 10 to go.
Yeah, he's done a really, really good job of timing it, isn't he? Just sort of hanging back, stalking there, managing his car and whatnot, and just knows when to pounce and get the job done. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, that's it for tonight, but we've got some great racing coming up. Thursday night with the Car Cup. I did have that in my head to where we were, but I can't remember now.
So for Anscar, it's Monday night. It's New Hampshire. Thursday night, Wednesday night. Sorry, it's Lucas Oil, and Thursday night is Richmond. Of course, the Richmond race will be broadcast live with us here. Keep an eye out on the YouTube channel as well for replays of the Thunder race on the Wednesday race as well. I do try and chuck those up. Although
Some good highlight packages coming from you, Matt. So thanks to you for doing that work with the ones that we don't actually broadcast anymore, just to give us a chance to get out on the racetrack ourselves.
Yeah, just trying to create a record of it so people can watch it if they want, just to see how it was. I've put up a lot of historical races as well, just so people can see what it was like back in the day as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but and then next week for this series, the V8s, we are in Homestead, Miami.
Yep, definitely. But over on our sister channel, Check It Flag E streaming on Saturday night. Round 1 of the Triple Crown for the Weekend Warriors at Sonoma. So some great action to come for everyone to enjoy. I'd like to say thank you to Matt for doing all the camera work tonight. Carl will be back next week, at least I hope. And that'll give everyone a break from my dreary voice. But from myself and Matt, we wish you a safe week, and we'll hopefully see you all on Thursday night here on Performance E streaming for the Car Cup series at Richmond. Thank you and good night.